My name's Nick Newman. I'm the founder of Provision. We're based on Maltby Street. I've been running the business for the last 2.5 years. And we're a lifestyle store. We sell ceramics, timber flooring, apparel, glassware, with the emphasis upon tactility, materials, and beauty, and anything sort of by local designers that we like the look of. So the ethos of Provision is about integrity, it's about good design, it's about passionate makers, it's about having one eye on the environment and slow living, and it's about materials and the tactility of materials and how you can create something beautiful with a bit of wood or a bit of clay, and that's what we like to celebrate here. I'd worked for an architectural salvage company called Lasco, and I worked for them for many years, in fact 17 years, and during that time I ran the reclaimed flooring department. So we would go to old sites, essentially save timber from going into landfill. I also wanted to showcase some of the sort of products that I'd seen on my travels that I thought were interesting, some of the people I'd met who were making really beautiful clothes, and just have one sort of space where people could come in and potentially get anything they needed for their house, be it a candle, be it flooring, be it some nice taps, and even a nice jacket to wear home. From spending such a lot of time exposed to reclaimed materials, I think it cultivated a certain look that I liked, and the way designers could potentially use something that was old, essentially with patina, but looked old and maybe, for a skip, but then turn it into something beautiful. And I love the story and the provenance of materials, and that has definitely influenced the look here in Provision. The concept of slow living and good design is relevant because ultimately we live in a society, I believe, that doesn't place a value upon how things are made or the processes that have gone into that. The idea that you can purchase something from us and you might keep it for the rest of your life. So even in terms of like the clothing, I'm really keen that they're not necessarily clothing that's going to be fashionable for like maybe a season. They're good classic staple designs that you want in your wardrobe that you can go back to. Same as the pottery, you might have a lovely piece that you can put on your shelf that you're just going to love, or a teapot that you can use. I'm very much into ritual as well, and the whole ritual of daily living, and I think that's reflected in what we sell. In terms of me choosing who I stock and the makers, there's definitely an aesthetic consideration. I have a certain look that I really like and I'm really into, but by the same token, I'm very interested in people as well. As an example, there's a lady called Jackie who's very close to the shop. Her background is in theatre design, but she's got some really interesting stories about London, and I think that comes through in her clothing. And I just say to people, come and meet me, bring what you've made, let's have a look at it and see if it will work in the space. The most important material to me is timber. I love the tactility of wood, and that informs the aesthetic in here, and it also informs the makers that I choose. Definitely wood is the answer, yeah. There's also some makers that I'm very passionate about that I hope to one day have in here. That's one of my aims. So Bobby Mills, for instance, who's based in West Sussex, he's just does incredible things with wood. And also Craig from Sasa Works. And then people like Jason, who's in here currently, he makes beautiful stools, our stubby stools, which are really good sellers. So yeah, I have a bit of a obsession with timber, and I have to rein it in sometimes to allow other materials to come in. One of my favourite designers, ceramicists that we supply, or we have in Provision, is Nicola Gillis, who is based in Brighton, and she creates really beautiful pieces. I did a lot of interesting projects. I used to supply a lot to a lot of restaurants. There's a road called Redchurch Street in London, which I love, and the Aesop shops. And so I did a lot there. Since I've been running Provision, I've worked with a lot of designers. I've also done a lot of private residencies and worked with architects. And I do such a different array of houses and buildings in London. That's one of the reasons why I love London so much, because every project's really interesting. There's certain shops that I don't tend to forget. And what I wanted with Provision, it's about the experience of coming in. I wanted it to be calm. I think it's really important that, like, there's a nice smell, there's tactile objects. So you're sort of engaging with all your different senses. And I purposely wanted to do that. I'd just like them to hopefully buy something that they love, that they want to keep for as long as possible, and just enjoy being in here and feel very comfortable. We're hoping to take on a new space, an old workshop near Elephant and Castle in the next couple of months. So a space where designers and actually the general public can come in by appointment, and we can just discuss their interiors and what they're looking to create from their projects. We can help them with achieving a certain look. My favourite thing about Provision is actually the people, and I really, really mean that. The people I deal with on a daily basis who come into the shop, just about all of them are really lovely and really appreciative of what we're doing in here. The makers, they feel very excited to have something they've created put into the shop, and then when it sells, I guess it's validation. So yeah, I would say definitely the people. We live in a world that's becoming more and more sterile, and I think community is very important for human beings as well. And these are things that people seem to be lacking. So they've got social media, but do you really feel like part of a community on social media when you can come down to a row of shops and restaurants and sort of meet people in person?